Hey guys, I feel like there's always a glare in my glasses, which is why I'm always leaning in like this. But hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about Tyler Perry's Temptation. What is it called again? Confessions of a Marriage Counselor. I always just call it Temptation, especially when it came out. I was like, hey, y'all trying to go see Temptation? And it wasn't Tyler Perry's. Like, it's a long ass title. One thing Tyler Perry gonna do, he's gonna have these Panic at the Disco long ass title long ass movie titles. Digressing. Okay, so also before we get started, in my last video I did mention that there was going to be a giveaway, so I still didn't come up with any sort of rules or anything like that. Just subscribe and comment below. First person to do it will receive one of these amateur beautiful paintings made by moi. So get into it, honey. You know what I mean? You don't want to miss out on this. Get you some, because I have way too many canvases in here, and I'm for real trying to get rid of some. It's like they're in every room, they're all over the place, and some of them need to go. I digress. Okay, so we're gonna be talking about Tyler Perry's Temptation, Confessions of a Marriage Counselor. Oh my god, that is so, we're calling it Temptation, okay? Because like that's a long ass title. Digressing, moving on. So if you don't know who's in the movie, it's Journey Smollett, Lance Gross. I'll insert pictures and stuff of all of these people. I'll insert a picture of the whole cast and the name, not the whole cast, just like the main factors and stuff. Kim Kardashian was in here, which was pretty fucking random, but like her character doesn't really contribute a whole lot to the plot or specifically what we're going to talk about. So if you don't know, the movie is basically about a marriage counselor who has an affair with a millionaire Mark Zuckerberg type guy. So we have Judith is the main character. Then we have Harley. That's like I keep wanting to call him the classmate guy because they call him that like 12 times in the fucking movie.
The classmate guy.
And then we have Bryce, which is her husband, and we have her mom, which is, her name is Sarah. They really gave everybody just one name in here. I need first and last names on here. I like when they do that with characters. I like when they do that with the background characters and shit. And we have Brandy, aka Melinda, aka Mo to the E to the, okay, I'm sorry, but yeah, so these are all of the people that are in the movie. So basically, here's the plot. You have a marriage counselor who's telling the story of her sister, which we later find out is Judith, and she's talking to this lady because her and her husband came in for a counseling session. It's not going well, mad tension. He ends up storming off and leaving, and the counselor is left there with the wife, and she's like, you're cheating, aren't you? Like, yeah, look at you, you filthy whore. No, she's not doing any of that, but she's like, I can tell you're cheating on your husband. Like, this guy must make you feel exciting, all of this, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, but before you like decide what to do with your marriage, I want to tell you a story about my sister, Judith. So it basically explains how, it's like a story basically. So the story basically talks about how Judith met her husband Bryce. They were in a small town. Her mom was super religious. They ended up getting together. They went to college and stuff. She got a degree in counseling because she wanted to be a marriage counselor. He wanted to be a pharmacist, so he's, you know, a pharmacist. And they move into like a city type vibe. They're no longer in their small town. They're now about like in a busy ass city type of vibe. You know what I mean? Judith is working at a matchmaking company. Bryce is working at a small pharmacy and stuff. And that's going well until her boss asks her to work with, what's his name? Harley, aka the classmate guy. So he basically invented a social media platform. I guess we can compare it to Facebook. I'm not really sure. They don't really go into what it does and how it works and shit. So she ends up having to work with him because they're trying to make like a dating app essentially, or they're trying to make like, yeah, I guess like a social media / dating thing, because you know she's a marriage counselor. She sets people up all day. She's a marriage counselor working as a matchmaker, so she sets people up all day, and now they're just trying to figure out how to turn it into like technological. They're trying to make it all, you know, technical basically, and maybe get it online somehow. So while she's working with him, she starts spending a lot more time with him, starts vibing with him and stuff. And it's kind of like wherever her husband has shortcomings, this dude is just like he's giving more than what she was getting in her relationship, or not necessarily more, but like the things that she was missing in her marriage with her husband, she was getting here with this guy. So for instance, you have her husband who's like a super chill dude, mad chill, like super calm and stuff, very logical, you can tell. But it also has a hindrance, I feel like, on their marriage and their overall relationship. Because you can just tell when he says certain things, she's just like, what you want? Sorry, do you hear that? I hate that my neighbors fucking do this shit. But anyways, so for instance, there's this particular scene where they're going to dinner and they're coming back from dinner, they're walking to their car, and his wife, Bryce's wife, aka Judith, gets catcalled, but like in a very aggressive type of way. When he was like, hey, like I'll insert it here.
With the bitch right there.
You talking to me? I know you ain't talking to me. Okay, show some respect. Take your ass to hell.
And instead of defending her, he kind of is just like, calm down, you let them ruin our night. And it kind of felt like he was putting the blame on her, even though, you know, I can see why something like that would upset her, for real. I also get his logic behind it, because there's a shit ton of dudes here. Like, they could have had a gun, like, as he mentions, he's like, they could have had a gun, it could have been really bad, it could have been really messy, which I totally understand. But I feel like he shouldn't have gotten upset with her for defending herself. Like, if you're not gonna defend her yourself, that's fine, dude, but at least don't make her feel like shit for standing up for herself, right? Or at least put it in a way where it's like, because if that was me and that was my girl, I would have been like, yeah. And I feel like I didn't feel like you know what I mean? I don't have fighting hands. I mean, I can have fighting hands, run up and you shall see, but I'm saying, like, I don't go out of my way to get into some shit. So if that was my girl, I would have been like, yes. I would have been like, fuck his shit up, like, I would have been cheering her on from the sidelines, just maybe not being like, oh, you let them ruin our night, you did this. Like, that's the vibe I got. So for me, that was like strike one of many. So in that same aspect, right, she's spending more time with Harley, and they find out that they run in the same park. So she goes to meet his ass at this park, right? Like, that's what she's there to do. And you can tell she's there to do that, because like there's a certain scene where she's looking in the mirror and she's just sitting and thinking. And this is why I always say people know that they're going to cheat before they even know that they're going to cheat, because she was doing the most, right? So basically, she's at the park, they're running and stuff, and a bicyclist bumps into her. Now Harley starts getting all up in arms and shit, and he's like starts like wanting to like fight the dude. I'm gonna try to insert a clip here. I say try to because I never know if I'm actually gonna do it or not, but I do my best. I do what I can.
Problem, man. Huh? Say something.
No, Harley, wait, no, Harley, Harley, I'm okay.
I'm really sorry.
I'm okay.
So yes, as you can see, assuming I added the clip, he was like really aggressive and stuff. And for me, I feel like I seen the parallels that they were trying to make between her husband and Bryce, and how Bryce is more chill, calm and stuff, and he's more like passionate and all of this other shit, which I feel like should have been viewed as a red flag though. Like, I'm sorry, if somebody accidentally bumps into me and my man is trying to fight, I'm gonna be like, I can't take you anywhere, because that's just too much. So that's basically what the movie is. Like, it's basically shows different parallels between the relationship she has with her husband and the relationship she's developing with a new guy, so aka Harley. And what's another instance, her fucking husband forgets her birthday for the second year in a row, and Bryce is her husband, and Harley remembers her birthday, gets her flowers and stuff, and it's like, damn, she's only known this man for like a second, he remembered her birthday. And You know what I mean? It was just things were looking more and more bad for Bryce. Like, the alignment just wasn't there. And for another example is she would be talking about her dreams of starting her own practice. Because, you know, she went to school to be a marriage counselor, but she's kind of unhappy at her job working as a matchmaker. That's just not what her passion is, but, you know, it pays the bills. So she's talking to her husband about all of these dreams she has. Like, yes, I just want to start my own practice. And he's like, you shouldn't even be thinking about that right now. Give it 10 to 15 more years. And it's like, you can tell he's just more so just being what he considers was probably logical, instead of being like, you know, it'll happen. We're going to get there. Let's just work, hustle, and we're going to get there before you even know it. And it's going to be great, right? But that's not what he said. And then you have why do I keep calling him fucking Bryce? And then you have Harley, who she's like, yeah, I do want to start my own practice and stuff. And he's like, oh my God, yes, you're super talented. You should really do it. Like, be about it. Like, you totally got this. Like, you could do that today if you wanted to. Like, he's like really encouraging her and stuff. So if you've seen the movie, like, I know my summary was probably like really shit, or I'm still kind of summarizing. Let me hurry up and finish summarizing, then we can talk about the issues. So she ends up going on a business trip with Harley, which she ends up fucking him, or having an affair with her husband. Sorry, I didn't mean to say the F word so strongly. But yes, so she ends up cheating with her husband with him. She gets back home and she's like, don't ever talk to me again. I'm over this. We can't do this again. And that's what happens, right? For like a day or two, if even that. So as they're pulling up to her crib, because Harley's dropping her off, her husband, Bryce, is coming back with her mom, aka Sarah, from the airport, because her mom came to visit. And it's just awful timing. Like, she just freshly had sex with somebody else, and it's just such an awkward interaction.
Hey.
And so you go inside and stuff. They go inside, and it's Judith, Bryce, and Sarah, aka Judith's mom. And so they're having dinner, and you find out that Bryce has been telling her mom, like, yeah, she doesn't really cook for me, and yeah, we don't go to church anymore. And mind you, her mom is like literally, I don't want to say a pastor, but she's religious. She leads like a church and stuff. You know what I mean? Baby girl got her own flock, if you will. So her mom is very much religious. He's now told her that her daughter isn't going to church. He tells her that her daughter isn't cooking for him. And so she's like, what? Like, what? I don't get it. What is this? What is happening? You can tell her mom is more traditional in that sense. And so, you know, to be fair though, he was like, yeah, I did forget her birthday, and she was on that ass. But yeah, so she's just feeling like really ganged up on at this point, because it's like her husband is saying all this stuff to her mom's getting on her ass for it. She just cheated on her damn husband. It's a whole mess, and you can tell she's kind of on edge. She's like very irritated. She's like, Mom, when are you going home? I'm tired of you being here already. Like, it's like a whole thing. And so I would recommend watching the movie so you can really get the context of what I'm saying. So then she ends up starting the affair back up with Harley. Then you find out that Harley is crazy, loco, okay? He like does hard drugs, gets her hooked on hard drugs, is physically abusive. And you find out that M to the Brandy's character, Melinda, used to date him and was like trying to escape him because he was abusive. Then we also find out that Harley gave Melinda HIV. And of course we find out that Judith has also contracted HIV, and her husband didn't get anything, luckily. And the story kind of sums up, and it's Judith, aka the marriage counselor. She's now talking with the lady from the very beginning of the movie, and the lady's just like,
thank you so much for sharing this story with me. I'm gonna end affair and stay with my husband.
Which, of course, cool. Like, but at the same time, though, I feel like they missed the moral of the story. Like, and I feel like the moral of the story was kind of just like, you know, don't cheat on your significant other, which you shouldn't do. I feel like that's a given. I feel like it's like, what is it that I'm trying to find? Like, be grateful for what you have. Like, these are all good points, but to a certain extent, I feel like they just don't apply to our main characters. I feel like they don't apply to Bryce and Judith in particular. Because here's why, y'all. Because they met at a small town. They got married out of a small town. They're the only two people that they've ever been with, the only two people that they really know. Like, not two people, but they're like, they only know one another. And small town. And on top of that, they got married like really, really young. And like, I think they got married at like 18 or something like that. Which is like, if you got married at 18, girl, I'm not judging you. I'm not knocking you. Make it work, hunty. You know what I mean? If you get married at a young age, like, you know what I mean? I do believe it's possible that when you know, you know. I just feel like they didn't have the odds really in their favor. Because like I said, small town. So they were picking out of a smaller barrel. Then they moved themselves where there's a bigger barrel. And then I feel like she started to find out that her and her husband weren't compatible. Now, should she have cheated? No. Because it's like, you know what I mean? I feel like that's like a huge betrayal with a partner, especially if you're having unprotected sex with somebody else. Because you're not only fucking with your life, now you're fucking with your significant other's life. And I just feel like that's not right. Like, that's not cool. Because I feel like there's so much, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like things like HIV, STDs and stuff are a real consequence for not having protected sex. Wrap it up. Especially if you think you're gonna cheat. But before you go to cheat, just don't do it. Because I feel like that's what made this so much messier. But instead of the moral of the story being like, oh, she had a good guy, she should have stayed with the good guy, it's like, I feel like she should have gotten a divorce and just like pursued something else. Because I just don't think that they were compatible. Where her values and stuff were like, you can tell some of their core values stuck together, but then there were other things that just didn't latch on right. So for instance, there's another scene in particular, and that's when I was like, okay, bruh, like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, he low-key was, I don't want to say neglecting her. I wouldn't want to say mistreating her, but more so, I think he like took her a little bit for granted. Because it was just like, dog, it was like one thing after another that he was like fucking up on. And it was shit that was so unnecessary. But there's this particular scene where she was in the office, her and Harley are discussing like the questionnaire for their new matchmaking thing, and he, you know, points out that there are no questions about sex in her little, you know, in her questionnaire. And she was like, oh no, I don't believe in sex before marriage, so the questionnaire doesn't have questions based off of that. And you know, he's kind of shocked. I'll just add the scene here.
Your husband is the only guy you've ever been with, ever.
Yes.
One guy.
Yes, and my husband and I are very compatible.
How would you know how sexually compatible you are when you have nothing to compare it to?
So after having this conversation with Harley, I guess she's like all revved up. She's like, ooh, I'm gonna run home to my man and give him the business. But then when she goes to give him the business, he's like, because she was like in the kitchen and she was like, let's get into it. And he was like, no, like, what is wrong with you? And I feel like that's just not good. I feel like if your significant other is coming to you about anything, really, like if it's something emotional, sexual, mentally, physically, whatever the point of conversation is, I feel like you should try your best to view it with an open mind and an open heart, and in his case, open legs. But he just didn't. He was like,
Look, this is weird. We're not gonna do this. I'm gonna forget you did this, okay? Now, if you wanna growl at something, you can growl at this sandwich. After we finish eating, we can go in the bedroom and do this. Okay, That's my shirt. Come on. Hey,
my back.
look, this is weird.
Like, if he didn't want to have sex in the kitchen, that's perfectly fine and stuff, but I feel like the conversation should have been different. And I also feel like Judith should have communicated better too. Because it's like I said, I feel like she knew she was gonna cheat, because it was a little bit too obvious. Like, at a certain point in the movie, she gets a makeover and stuff done, not for her husband, but for her business trip with Harley. And it was just like, okay, do you not notice that you're doing this, girl? That you're getting all, zhuzhed up for a man that's not your husband? Yeah, and I feel like that's the problem. And I feel like the moral of the story should not have been, stay with your husband if you're unhappy. Because I don't know, I just feel like that's the vibe. Because even the lady at the end of the movie, I'm like, okay, clearly y'all are still having some sort of problem, or y'all having some sort of issue in your relationship to where you're here. And it could be very well because of the cheating. She could be very well taking her husband for granted and stuff, but I feel like the conversation needs to be a little bit deeper than that, instead of just like, yeah, we're not really compatible and stuff, but he's nice, so I'm gonna make it work. Which is like I feel like that's a weird way of looking at it. Because like I said, I feel like how everything played out was how it was supposed to play out. But they really were like laying it on thick that she, like, because at the end of the movie, Judith, it's like some years later, Judith goes to the pharmacy that her now ex-husband works at. Dude has like a baddie of a wife and children, like, and she's just alone. And it's just like, it leaves you with this sad feeling. Like, she's walking away from the pharmacy. It leaves you with this sad feeling of like, oh my God, like, damn, like, it just seems so sad and so bad. And it's like, like I said, know your status. Don't be out here having unprotected sex with random men and women and everybody. Just wrap it up. Wrap that shit up. I don't know what else to say. And know your shit. Know your sexual health status and shit. But I feel like the point should have been like, okay, get a divorce, or okay, this wasn't gonna work either way, because it wasn't gonna work either way. They weren't compatible. They didn't really, go together. I feel like it was cool when they were young. And like I said, that's another thing too. Like, they went from a small town to a big town, and then kind of seen what else was out there, or kind of seen what life would be like, or not what life would be like with another person. She got to see that, which that's another thing with cheating too. Like, if you're gonna cheat, at least let your significant other know, because he's over here being a wholesome and faithful, loyal and stuff, and she's out here cheating. And it's like, dog, like, that to me was a big no-no. That wasn't the answer to the question, but I feel like people need to normalize getting out of relationships when it just isn't working, you know what I mean? Or normalize, I don't know, I guess that's the only thing I could think of, because it was real simple. It's like, she should have just like separated from him, because I feel like that would have saved him a lot more heartache and stuff. Or even better, had the right conversations and stuff with him, because he didn't even know that there was a problem until there was a problem. Like, and I feel like that was just not good. But it's like, he couldn't really read the room that much either. It's like you really forgot her birthday, for real. Like, set an alarm, write it on your damn calendar. And like, it's just like a series of things. It was just bad. I feel like it was just because they weren't compatible, and also because where they both were, like, in their careers, they weren't at the peak of their careers and stuff. So it was just a tense time all around. That's why I don't think that, or not that I don't think that, I feel like if you're gonna marry young, marry young. I just feel like just not me. And I feel like the whole sex before marriage thing, and if that's not your cup of tea, girl, that's not your cup of tea. I'm not encouraging you to do anything like that. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. To me, that's like risque, or like risky, not to have sex before marriage.
She breathes
which sounds like it sounds real whorish right now, real sluttish. But I just feel like it is important, depending on how important sex is to you in general. Like if it's like, if you use it as a way to like connect with people and vibe with people and stuff, and not just for like, you know, obvious reasons, but like to really like bond with your partner and stuff, then I feel like you should probably do that before marriage. Because can you imagine if you get married and y'all aren't sexually compatible and y'all don't find out till the night of your wedding? And even then, I feel like people don't automatically start off sexually compatible. You know, it's about learning your partner and stuff, seeing what you both like. I don't know why I'm talking like I'm some sort of guru, y'all, but like real shit, I feel like that's just the way to go about it. Because in this case, she was like trying to experiment with him and he wasn't even having it. He was like, okay, like, no, what's wrong with you? And I feel like that's not a good look. I feel like it should have been a judge-free zone, and it should have just been super chill. But alas, it was not. And she cheated like a dumbass, which is like, don't do that. But also, I just feel like the moral of the story shouldn't be, I should have kept my husband and not have done, like, yeah, you definitely shouldn't have cheated, but like I don't think the moral of the story should have been, man, I had a good thing and I ruined it. It's like, I feel like there could be two good people in a relationship, but they're probably like, there's a chance that they just may not be compatible with each other. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? You picking up what I'm putting down? And yeah, but she was mad quick throwing away years of marriage for somebody that she had just met. Like, to me, that was like already, like, that's why I'm saying their relationship was already trash. For her to be able to do that, like, I'm trying to think what else is good. Oh, also too, it kind of felt like I felt like she was getting judged a lot, which I totally get it. Like, because I'm not saying, I don't completely 110% lick down on people that cheat. I wouldn't say 110%. I would say maybe like, I like down like 80%, maybe 90, 95, depending on the setup. In her case, I felt like it was a good, I was looking at her like, bitch, like 80%. Like, only because I just feel like that's such a dumb thing to do. Like, I feel like it's so stupid. But I do feel like people do make mistakes and stuff. And the one time it was a one-off situation, I feel like she really should have talked to her husband about it. But it was just like, she was too far gone. Baby girl was dick whipped and dickmatized. Abracadicabadoo. I don't know what I was going at with that. Please disregard. Oh God. But yeah, so everybody was kind of against her. She kind of really didn't have anybody to talk to. And like even her mom, which was super unfortunate, because her mom, okay, so here's a scene in particular that it frustrated the shit out of me. So she's chilling in her house or whatever. She gets a call from Harley, and this is how they get started back up after stopping things the first time. And he's like, she's mad at him. It's like, you don't call me, you ignore me. And it's like, girl, you're married. He needs to not be calling you. He needs to be ignoring you, please. Like, no. But anyways, he's like, come over right now. Her husband has no questions about where she's going. She just leaves. But her mom kind of peeps it, and her mom is like, does she always leave like this? Her husband, very trusting, bless his heart. Bryce is just watching a game and stuff. But I feel like to a certain degree, I gotta ask questions. Cause it's like, if you just up and leave in the middle of like, you know, late at night too, and your work hours are 9 to 5 and you're out the door at 7 p.m. talking about oh, it's a work thing. I have questions, but he didn't ask any questions. But basically, she goes, she hooks up with Harley, is cooking him food and stuff, but she don't cook for her husband. Quite interesting. No tea, no shade, no lemonade. But she comes back and it's late or whatever. Dude, Harley has given Judith drugs and wine. I don't know why I said wine like that. Sorry, I was in the middle of like a burp. Or was it a hiccup? I was in the middle of some bodily noise while I was trying to say wine. But anyway, so she's like a little lit. She's back home now, and her mom is there waiting for her at the door, which I don't know why, but for me that just irritated me, because it's like, I think because when she left his house, she left on like really bad terms. She was like pissed, like she threw her wine on him, she threw food on him, and she was like, don't ask me to come over here again, this is that and the third. So she gets home, and I feel like she's connecting the dots herself. Like I feel like she was nearly connecting the dots, or I feel like she was nearly there to getting to the point of, okay, this is causing me more stress than anything else. I'm being unfaithful to my husband. Like I felt like she was ready to check out at that point. But alas, here comes her mom, and she's like, where have you been? And just starts pressing her with questions and stuff. And she's like, I had a work thing, I'm just gonna go get in the shower. And I feel like what her mom's approach should have probably been a little bit different. Like as a mom, I'm not a mom, I'm not a parent, so probably easier said than done, I don't know. But no, really though, I feel like the approach should have been different. But it's like her mom just kind of seen everything that she was doing wrong, instead of kind of asking the right questions and stuff. Like, okay, I would have probably took my daughter out to lunch and been like, okay, so talk to me, what's going on? Because you don't, whenever you're going through some stuff like that, or if you're doing something that you're not supposed to be doing, but it's based off of like what's going on emotionally more so than it was physically, or at least that's what I think. I feel like if she would have had somebody to talk to and just to logically break it down and stuff without any judgment, then I feel like she would have been straight. But it's like, it was judgment from all corners. Like, she couldn't talk to her husband about it, obviously. And even then, he still kind of shows signs of like being a little bit judgmental, like before she even cheated. Because she was trying to spice up their sex life. She was trying to, like, you know what I mean? Pick things up and stuff. But like I said, y'all remember the scene. If I haven't included it, I'll include it here. But he was just kind of like, ugh, like, no, like, what's wrong with you? When she was trying to be sexy and stuff, which nobody wants to hear when they're trying to be sexy and stuff. That's not right. But yeah, her mom was just kind of more so coming at her instead of just being like, okay, let's talk about this. Like, you know, let's have a conversation about this. But instead, her mom persisted and pushed her on questions and stuff. Even though in my heart of hearts, I feel like she would have strayed away from it more if she would have just had like a moment to think about it, because she had just walked in the door after having that argument. And I feel like she was gonna be on some, okay, I'm done, I'm out. But it's like it seemed like everybody was pushing her more towards this escape. You know what I mean? Because essentially that's what Harley was from her, an escape. It was an escape from her marriage. It was an escape from her job, because he was ready to like sponsor her. Speaking of sponsoring, speaking of money, if you guys would like to donate to the channel and stuff, my Venmo and Cash App is linked in the description. Don't feel any pressure at all to do so, but you know what I mean? Ask and you shall receive. But also, if you don't want to, don't worry about it, but also that will be really nice. Digressing. But anyways, so he was like prepared to fund her whole dream of like starting her own practice and stuff. Like, he was just like a complete out, you know what I mean? And yeah, I feel like if she would have had a better support, specifically I feel like with her mom, I feel like her husband, she should have had the conversation with him, or should have had a conversation with him that kind of went on the lines of like, you know, I feel like this isn't working, or I feel like, hey, this is having a hindrance on our marriage. Because I guarantee if she would have been like, hey, I feel like this is causing a negative impact on our marriage, I'm sure he would have been like, okay, fuck, tell me what I gotta do to fix it. Because sometimes, you know, because to be fair, she didn't even give him a fair chance to fix it. It's like, yeah, you know, he didn't handle things perfectly, and no, he wasn't perfect, but like, she still should have given him the chance to try to fix shit before cheating and having an affair. Like, the whole thing with her birthday, I'm trying to figure out what I would do if my significant, because it's like, I don't know, somebody that's big on birthdays, like I love getting birthday gifts and stuff, like getting birthday gifts, not receiving, but like getting birthday gifts for like my loved ones and shit. Like I like birthdays. I'm like, yes baby, let me make you a cake, let me wrap your gift. Like I don't know what it is, like I get really excited about, you know, birthdays and celebrating stuff. So if my significant other forgot my birthday, I feel like I would feel some type of way about it, but also I would probably like a week before be like, hey, you know what next week is, because like I said, I feel like he didn't have a fair shot at fixing it. Because I feel like if she would have been like, hey, if you forget my birthday again, we're gonna have some serious problems here, then I feel like, you know, or not even that, I feel like communicating how you feel on stuff, because sometimes people don't even realize how their actions make you feel. And I feel like, especially in a marriage, you should definitely have that conversation of like, okay, you forgot my birthday for the second time this year. That makes me feel unimportant to you, and this or that, or like list the reasons why she felt the way that she felt. When they were like, when she was trying to spice things up by having sex in the kitchen, she should have been like, okay, when you know, pushed me away yesterday, she's like, our sex life is boring. It's boring. I'm bored. And I feel like then he could have been like, okay, well, let me concoct something. Sorry about that. Let me call her back real quick. 1 second. Hello? Hey, sorry. I stepped away, got completely sidetracked, and yeah, I forgot what we were talking about. But moral of the story is, don't cheat, communicate with your partner, and don't have unprotected sex with random people. STDs. Okay, bye. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all of that good jazz. Let me know if y'all like these movie topics, so you can call it Movie Mondays, huh? Yeah, I feel like that's cute. Or not, I don't know, I can't really tell, but let me know. Okay, bye.